Now on the Valley today, we're following breaking news for you this morning. Fargo Fire Department's hazmat team called out to a hotel parking lot overnight for a leaking tanker truck.
And we have the latest information on the suspect in custody for several bombing attacks in the New York area over the weekend.
And this morning, starting off our day on a colorful note, but we're going to be kind of gray and rainy a little bit in the Southern Valley. We'll have more in your forecast.
Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is the Valley Today on Fargo CW.
Hey, very good Tuesday morning, everyone, and thank you so much for waking up with us. It's just past 7 a.m. I'm Kyle Bosch here with Lisa Bedeau. As we mentioned, we're starting with breaking news we've been following for you this morning. A hazmat team was called in to shut down an anhydrous ammonia leak outside a Fargo hotel overnight. Crews were called to the parking lot of the Biltmore Hotel on Main Avenue right around midnight after someone reported a leak and possibly smoke coming out of a tanker truck.
Police shut down streets surrounding the hotel, and the Fargo Fire Department's hazmat team sealed a cracked valve that caused the leak. Fire officials say the leak did not pose any health risk to the public, and they did not evacuate the hotel. The driver took the truck to Grand Forks to have that crack repaired permanently.
Time to get a first check of our weather now, and meteorologist Lisa Green is joining us. You're in the Southern Valley. Grab the umbrella on your way out the door, it sounds like.
Yeah, we've already got rain showers in parts of southeastern North Dakota, working their way into the Fargo-Moorhead area right now. So some changes happening even at the moment this morning in our weather. And you can see outside the sun trying to peek through as it's rising this morning, but the clouds are really rolling into Fargo-Moorhead. We've got that the camera pointed toward the east and some low-level clouds. You can see that there's quite a bit of moisture coming in here with those rain showers that are moving in. Here's a look at that. Over the last few hours, we've been watching this area of rain and thunder moving east. There is a little bit of some growth to the north on that line, but mainly Grand Forks north from there. Things are looking quiet for you. It's in the Southern Valley, especially southeastern North Dakota, where we're seeing the heavier rain. Jamestown getting another round of some steady rain coming in right now, and another round of rain pushing into western parts of Lemoore County. This is that Highway 281 corridor, Ellendale. Looks like things might be quieting down a bit, but notice along I-94 over toward Fargo, starting to see those rain showers push in, and they may be crossing over the Red River into Minnesota at this point too. 54 degrees in Fargo, 50 in Grand Forks. We're looking at 55 in Jamestown and 44 in Baudette. Our temperatures are a little cooler than yesterday, and our winds are a lot lower than yesterday too. Less than 10 miles per hour for a lot of us. So here's a look at our forecast. This morning we watched those areas, those rain showers, and that large area of cloud cover working east. That will continue to happen through the rest of the morning hours. Notice it really weakens, and we've been noticing that happening through the morning. A couple of areas still, though, by noon where we're getting some rain showers at that point, maybe even in the Fargo-Moorhead area, and a lot of cloud cover there with that. Up to the north, a nicer day. We're looking at more sunshine and temperatures there into the 60s and low 70s, and we'll have similar temperatures in the south. It may just not be as sunny for as long today, with some low 70s in the Fargo-Moorhead area and other parts of the Southern Valley. Then we dip into the 60s and 50s for later on this evening. Here's a look at that 7-day planner. Expect again some rain chances today in the south. Tomorrow, maybe a few more with cooler temperatures. And this weekend, a look ahead, boy, looking a bit soggy with temps in the 60s.
Not as nice as last weekend, for sure.
Certainly not.
Thank you, Lisa. Developing this morning, authorities are trying to figure out what motivated a naturalized U.S. citizen from Afghanistan to allegedly carry out a series of weekend bombings in New York and New Jersey. Within hours of officials releasing a photo of 28-year-old Ahmad Khan Rahami, officials arrested the suspected bomber. He's now being held on $5 million bail.
Rahami was captured after a gun battle with police in Linden, New Jersey, and is so far facing gun charges and attempted murder, though terror charges are likely. Authorities say they have directly linked Rahami to Saturday explosions in New York City and New Jersey and connected him to 5 more bombs found Sunday night near a New Jersey train station. They're also looking into whether he had ties to terror groups. Well, also developing for you this morning, federal authorities are now calling that knife attack at a St. Cloud, Minnesota shopping mall an act of terrorism. And Valley News Live is learning more about the man responsible and his time here in Fargo. Police now say that 10 people were stabbed by 20-year-old Dahir Adan, who used to live in the Fargo area before moving with his family to St. Cloud.
Federal authorities say he made at least one reference to Allah during the attacks. Documents uncovered by Valley News Live showed Tahir Adan's social security number was given by North Dakota sometime between 1995 and 1998, meaning he was just a child when he came to the state, and also meaning that he was likely radicalized while here. A local Islamic leader is calling them lunatics, saying people who commit acts of terrorism or violence are not really part of the Islamic faith. Because Adan is a Muslim man, some say he may have been striking back against people who are anti-Muslim.
However, Nabil Suleiman says that when people like him commit attacks of violence, they find out that he supposedly, and if they find out he supposedly did it in the name of Islam, they're not part of true Islamic faith.
They don't represent you.
They not just not to represent me. They are living on a different planet, it seems like. We are way far apart from each other. The way they think is way different. They think like criminals.
Now, Suleiman says that he thinks most people who understand Islam do not support violence.
But he says the current rhetoric in the presidential campaign is fanning the flames of protest against the people who practice it, Muslims.
Well, after the attacks at that St. Cloud Mall, many people might be thinking about dangers at malls in our area. We talked with West Acres Mall officials, and they say they don't plan on changing anything because of the attack, because they've already prepared for a variety of situations.
We also asked officials about their gun policy after the St. Cloud attack was stopped by an off-duty police officer. According to the mall's code of conduct, weapons are not allowed to be carried unless you are a trained police officer.
In our election 2016 coverage this morning, Hillary Clinton has apparently plugged her leaking lead against Donald Trump, at least according to this week's NBC News SurveyMonkey election tracking poll. In the head-to-head race, Clinton now leads Trump 50% to 45%. Well, in the four-way matchup, Clinton is also holding on to a 5-point advantage over the GOP nominee.
Meanwhile, on the campaign trail, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are trading jabs over national security in the wake of the recent terror attacks. Yesterday, Clinton attacked Trump for making irresponsible, reckless rhetoric, while Trump accused Clinton of turning ISIS loose on the world. The two contenders go head-to-head in their first presidential debate in less than a week. A North Dakota jail escapee is back behind bars this morning after a standoff in Mandan that lasted nearly 5 hours. 35-year-old William Rawson of Washburn escaped from the McLean County Jail early Sunday morning. Police say he was found yesterday and barricaded himself in the trailer home in Mandan before being arrested. Rawson was originally facing charges for possession of a stolen vehicle and reckless endangerment.
A Grand Forks man could be facing up to 5 years in jail on terrorizing charges after allegedly telling people at a Grand Forks business that he had a gun. Police ended up arresting 45-year-old Craig Kuhl after receiving 2 calls yesterday about a suspicious man at a radio station. Kuhl had told workers there he had a gun in his vehicle. Then when police arrived, Kuhl had left, but they were able to track him down nearby and arrested him. A search of his vehicle did turn up 2 airsoft guns. Well, Carson Wentz just continues to do what he did throughout his college career, win, even at the NFL level.
Valley News Live sports director Beth Houle is in Chicago. She was there for the Monday night matchup with the Bears and talks with Wentz and his teammates after the big win.
Good morning, guys, from Chicago as Carson Wentz and the Philadelphia Eagles open their season 2-0, making Carson Wentz just the 5th quarterback since 1970 to open his young career with 2 wins, joining the likes of John Elway. As Carson continues to impress the fans and the media, he's most importantly impressing his teammates.
We have all the confidence in the world that he can get the job done, and I mean, he's our leader, and he takes charge of this team, and I mean, he's grabbing the team by the reins and running with it. So we're just following him.
That was a really good ball, really good ball on time. I mean, he's showed a lot of poise, you know, and he's played really well these first 2 games.
The way he's carried himself, not just on the field but also off the field too, and in the huddle, he never seems rattled. It was our first time for him being down in an NFL game. He didn't miss a beat.
A lot of things going on, a lot of people, a lot of eyes on us, you know, tonight, but it was a football game. You know, you only get so many of these. You got to take advantage of your opportunities, and it was a lot of fun.
Well, Wentz had a big game to get ready for last night in Chicago. Wentz says that he was eagerly awaiting to get back to his house after practice on Saturday with the Philadelphia Eagles, looking to watch that NDSU versus Iowa game. He DVR'd it. He turned his phone off. He told no one to tell him anything so he could get back to his place with his brother Zach and watch NDSU defeat Iowa. He says, well, he was excited. He certainly wasn't surprised. Reporting in Chicago with the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm Beth Wool.
Well, Wentz and the team will look to go 3-0 when they take on the Steelers this weekend. By the way, Beth mentioned how he's just the 5th quarterback since 1970 to rookie quarterback to start 2-0. He is the first rookie quarterback since 1970 to ever start 2-0 and not throw an interception. So making some history.
Yeah, he's awesome. And it's so much fun to watch him on TV. So he's got a huge fan base here in North Dakota for sure. Well, Wentz's former team is dealing with a big loss. Linebacker Nick DeLuca is out for the rest of the season.
Head coach Chris Kleiman announced yesterday that DeLuca will have to undergo shoulder surgery. He will apply for a medical hardship, so he could get to return to the team next year. Junior Matt Plank will be taking over DeLuca's middle linebacker spot in the lineup for the rest of these games. In other football injury news, Vikings running back Adrian Peterson has a torn meniscus in his right knee.
Head coach Mike Zimmer says AP isn't expected to be out for the season and might even play this Sunday. He was hurt in the third quarter of Sunday night's game against the Packers.
A spike in the number of children killed in car crashes has safety officials scratching their heads. That story coming up next right here on the Valley Today.